Hi and welcome again to another video. Now this one is going to be about Nvidia or Nvidia you want to call it. Now what it is that what is going on in the graphical market, we say. Why is there so many graphics cards coming from Nvidia? They've got like about 2 million 1060s or GTX 1060s. They've got a 1660 Ti, a 1660, a 1650 that's coming out. And we still haven't really got anything better with the RTX range. So we've got RTX 2080 Ti, 2080 and 2070. And I'm sure we've got an RX 2060, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, we do have an RX 2060, which I got here. Now, if you're built, the fact is with this video, people get confused. What do I need to buy? What graphics card do I need to actually have? And I'm here to help. I'm here to help you. Because it's really annoying not knowing what graphics card to get. So do I get the 1660 Ti because it's reasonably priced, or get the RTX 2060 because it's RTX but plus it's got the performance, it's not too expensive, it's got the ray tracing and all that sort of stuff, but now they're trying to put ray tracing on the 60s. Whoa, which graphics card do I go with? Well, let's talk about just Nvidia or Nvidia. At the moment, the difference is with graphics cards is that if you're going to play with 4K, then you need to opt with a more higher end graphics card. Like if you're going to opt for like 2K, then you can act with a graphics card from 1080p to obviously what is it, 1440p. Now the proper gaming norm for everyone is normally between 1920 or 1080 and obviously 1440p. 4K people are coming over to like obviously use that and play it, but even like when you got 4K and everything like that, so like I was saying in another video the other day, if you're playing CSGO and you've got a 4K screen, you've got, or even ultra high definition screen, 3840 by 2160, or you even got 1920 by 1080 resolution, and you got 240 hertz. There's people that play with box like CRT versions of like the game, and they take out the graphics and stuff like that, and you're like, well, why was the point of getting such a powerful graphics card and a powerful monitor if you're only going to do that? But they use the frame rates per second and increase it to make it sure it's more cleaner to see, to take your subject out. Now I understand that, but it doesn't make sense spending all that money on a monitor and a high-end graphics card if you're going to really do that. So technically, RTX 2060 is equivalent to everything. Now, don't get me wrong, I love AMD and I love Nvidia. Actually, I don't love any of them. I just love the fact that we've got a choice between getting graphics cards at a decent price. You've got the low end, which is more like AMD stuff, and then you've got the high end stuff as well, and then the workstation stuff. But it depends on what your needs are for. So if we go to PC components, and then we go to Nvidia graphics cards. Now, if I was going to get a graphics card in this day and age right now, 2019, I would opt for the RTX 2060 because it's reasonably priced, it's not too expensive, and it will definitely last, and it's got the ray tracing. Even though you can get the ray tracing soon, it's going to be updated on the GTX graphics cards, or 1660 Ti, which is really weird. It's basically a 1920 by 1080 resolution, so a 1080p graphics card, whereas this is more of your sweet spot from 1080 to obviously 2K, but then you can obviously 20p. Yeah, 20. Was it 21? Oh, I can't remember what the resolution is now. 1440p. But then you could play some games in 4K, but the frame rates dropped down. Now the whole point about this graphics card was obviously the ray tracing, CUDA cores, and all that sort of stuff. It's a faster card and everything like that. But I really don't know, like, the graphics card looks nice and everything like that. It's solid, it's built to last, it's got good freaking cooling, it's got a nice backplate. You do pay extra for backplates. Now if you go for an older graphics card like the GTX range, you don't get a backplate. Or some of them you get a backplate, but you have to pay more money if you can still get it. But anyway, let's go on to the RTX. So we've got RTX 1660 Ti, yeah? And compared to this is not very far away from it. This is a very competitive price they put it on at the moment though. It's at $269. But if you could have got this from Nvidia when it came out, it was $329, I think. right? So I would have opted for this rather than getting that, because technically I'm not going to be able to pay 1440p off of that because the graphics card is not as fast as this one. But this one doesn't need to be too fast to be able to play all the games that we play today, like Apex Gaming, League of Legends, freaking Battlefield, all them sort of games. You don't really need a more powerful graphics card than that, unless you're going to use a 4K monitor and you want the best of the best, like a 2080 Ti, which I've got down here. So this graphics card is the cream of the creme at the moment, 2080 Ti, and this is what I would call for 4K gaming without any hassle whatsoever. You can obviously get another graphics card and then put an SLI bridge, and then you've got two like 2080 Ti's and you've got a power of 8K then, equivalent. But we don't need to talk about that because that's like £1,500 for that graphics card. This is £329. I would rather buy this than that graphics card because I don't need that graphics card. I'm using the BenQ Zowie monitor, and I've got 144 hertz, and I've also got 240 hertz as well, which gives me 240 frame rates a second, 144 frame rates a second, and I get it all from this graphics card as well. So I've done the test, so I know. What about a RTX 2060? But there's no point even going for the other graphics card. It's like £300. It's £300 for a palette version, which is just, it's still an RTX 2060. This is cheaper than what this is. And then all the others jump up in price, like $338.99, $329. I'm guessing with Asus, there you go. This is MSI, that's nearly £400. So if I was going to get an RTX 2060, I would opt for the cheapest one at the moment because it's still going to beat the 1660 Ti. And you can overclock it. It's pretty simple from watching a video. Some YouTubers have got like videos where they're using Afterburner and overclocking it as long as they've got decent cooling. So what is going on with the market, you say? Well, I think what's going on in the market is Nvidia is flooding the market against AMD. They're literally putting every category of graphics card for everyone, for every price point, for every needs. That's what I think is happening. Now, that is a bullshit way of doing stuff, is putting out loads of graphics cards and most of them ain't going to get sold because the RTX 2060 is in the proper place and the proper price of like what people are going to buy because it's got extra stuff, whereas the AMD hasn't got extra stuff but it still has the frame rates per second. Technically we haven't even got the games to even play it yet. We've only got demos, which is no good. So technically I would forget about ray tracing and stuff like that, but if you want to be a bit future proof then you go with that because it's only an extra bit of money, but it's in the right place. The 2070 is a useless card, I think. 2080, that's even more useless. 2080 Ti is excellent, but it's not that much of a bigger performance. But the thing is, it's very crap in the price. It's really horrible. But the RTX 2060 is a good price. Like AMD's 590, that's a good price for a graphics card as well. So it's still like the graphics cards right now. If I was going to go for the budget of the budget of the budget graphics card, I'll go with a 1050 or 1050 Ti. That's where I would go because I could still play with 1080p gaming but lower frame rates, and that would be for the people that are playing CSGO and stuff. But the only thing is, because the graphics card's got lower memory, it means that sometimes it's going to like be buffering a little bit, so it's going to have a little bit of a lag and then it'll be alright and have a bit of a lag. It's much better to have a graphics card that's got a little bit more headroom. This is what it's like if you've got the right components to get the actual performance out of the computer. That's what you should be doing. It's called a balanced computer. So if I was going to use a 2060, I would use like an Intel 970 processor on it because it's got a little bit more headroom, it's got the performance, and I would use like probably a 650 power supply, and I would use like 3000 memory upwards. So those are the things that you need to have that's balanced. So all I was thinking is probably like making videos on what computers you should build like for a balanced computer, but more on that in another video. If you want to see that, comment down below. But anyway, Nvidia is basically flooding the environment with their graphics cards, and it's making AMD, because they haven't got their new graphics cards out. Well, we know AMD come a little bit short when it comes to the graphical performance, but technically, if you're playing a game and you're benching it and you want to see how many frame rates per second you can get, it doesn't work like that as much. In real world results, you're just going to be playing it. Can you notice the difference? That's the question you want to ask yourself. From my point of view, I can notice the difference in certain things because that's the way it goes. Anyway, my point is that for £299, you can get an RTX 2060, which is going to definitely beat out the 1660 Ti. So if you're making a new build, then go with the RTX 2060. And if you're an AMD person, then go with a 590 or a 580 graphics card. This is where I would go. I would go with, you can even go with a Vega 56. That's not too bad as well. I've used that. I've used a 580 and a 590. How much is a 590 going for? Even that's reasonably priced, but the RTX 2060 and the 1660 Ti and the 1660 is going to definitely beat that. 1660 is going to be a little bit close with the AMD one, but are you going to notice the difference? That is the question. Probably not, but it depends. If you're in competitive gaming, I could spec you up a competitive gaming machine. If you're just gaming like with your friends coming around and you just want something just to game with, I could spec that up for you. If you want something that's spec'd up for video production or something like that, I could do that for you. I could do everything with that because it's all about having a balanced computer, what you can get rid of and what you can't get rid of. So that's my point. I think obviously there's a few different graphics cards out. We're a little bit let down by certain graphics cards. What was this? This is 650. I think this goes up with against a 2080 RTX 2080, and it's like £700, 750. The Vega, what is this? A Vega 6, Vega 7? I can't remember what one it is. But yeah, if I was going to go for anything from Radeon, it would be from a 570 all the way to a 590, depending on how much memory you need. And anything from Nvidia would be anything from 1050 up to RTX 2060. If you're going for 4K, then obviously 2080 is okay, but it's a bit of, I don't know, the price is still a bit dodgy. And obviously 2080 Ti, the price is still dodgy, but it will get you there for the 4K and the frame rates per second. Anyway, hope this was enough an informative video, and plus my thoughts about what I think Nvidia is doing is like literally flooding the market, and that's definitely the truth. Comment down below what you think. What do you think? Do you think Nvidia is doing? Literally, there's a graphics card coming out every week. What annoys me as well is that we waited so freaking long for a new upgrade for a graphics card, then all of a sudden they're just flooding out the market, and everything was all bad when you couldn't get a graphics card when we had all the mining sessions. Anyway, and that's another rant that I don't really want to talk about. Anyway, subscribe, share, like, follow me on all social media platforms. Merch store down below. Help support the channel, and I'll see you next one. Thanks for watching. Roger and out. And the guy that said, am I got a bit of a mental problem? Yes, I do. No, I don't really. But anyway, Roger and out.